Hello YouTube, this is Alexander again. Today I want to talk here about power supply, and this little power supply is Nomad power supply. It comes from Thingiverse. This is the surrounding made in 3D printing, and also you have in there LED voltmeter and a potentiometer here, and fuse, and the outlet for the output. There is no red and black here, but it's very easy to make a little paint or lettering. So this device is useful when you need a power supply on a special place where you haven't special equipment to do it right. So you can use this stuff to have a power supply for troubleshooting or for testing equipment. It works with a battery like that, which comes from Milwaukee drill. It's a very famous drill actually, and there is a lot of homemade circuits working with this kind of batteries. So to make it working, simply you just have to slip it like that, and you will have this box connected directly to this battery, and you have your voltage displayed on the front panel. You can find it here on this outlet, and also with a little screwdriver it's very easy to choose the voltage you want. You can go from 1.2 volts until 40 volts, but this display is only able to show 33 volts, and so you can see this is a very low voltage according the need you can have on a different place or special place. If you want to use a lower voltage than the 18 volts coming from this battery, also you can have 40 volts if you are interested by 40 volts also, but this display stopped at 33 because it's made like that. It's a little product, not expensive, very nice for the price, and we can't expect more from this little voltmeter. So actually this little power supply has a second role, and this second role is able to feed it's very difficult to turn actually, this little knob. It's very little. Okay, let's it like that. So, and of course when you're on miscellaneous site, you can have the need of soldering something. You can use some stuff like that using gas, and it's the duty of this kind of stuff are not exceptional, and you need to have gas to recharge this for working. But if you have many joint to do, is not the best idea. And so you can use this kind of torch, and it's very powerful actually, but for hitting some part, etc., it's very for shrinking some tube, it's very nice. But this is not a soldering iron. The best, of course, is choose a soldering iron like that, but you need to have the main on your site, which is not always the case. So the best way is to use those kind of soldering iron, and the difference with this soldering iron is it's because it has a special plug actually. This plug is made to be connected on this outlet here, and of course first you have to put this connector on the plug in front, and the second connector here. And what happened here is that the 18 volts coming from the battery are sent directly to this soldering iron, and it's a 40 watt of power something like that, and you can use it to solder even in windy condition or when it's very cold, because you need a lot of heat for making some solder joint, and sometimes if it's windy or if it's very cold, you lose a lot of power from your soldering iron, and it makes the joint very difficult. And what you can see in a few minutes, it can reach a very high temperature, which I will show you now with a soldering wire. Okay, here you will have a soldering wire, and you can see you can guess the power of this soldering iron working with this 90-volt battery. And the purpose of it is to not use a cord, a high-length cord to make coming the main from somewhere. You don't need the main for this stuff. You only need this, and you can make your repair and your stuff if you need to do something according the purpose, soldering some wire or some anything you want in a very hard condition, if it's windy or very cold weather. And you don't need any cord, just this little battery, which is actually one of the best battery I know for the moment. It's a very famous battery. So, and also, if you if you can see on the top of the soldering iron, it was a button actually. This button was an idea to connect the soldering iron directly on the battery or on the regulator inside the box here. But actually it makes the regulator hitting very, very hard, so I preferred to send all the power on this soldering iron and protect the power supply. So there is just one single power, and this is the maximal power. Look how the soldering wire is melted on this stuff. You can see, you can guess the power of this thing. So now let's disconnect the stuff. And of course this box is not definitely closed, because I wanted to show you how it's work actually. You have this part is coming from Thingiverse, made by some 3D printing user, and it's free, and you can make it at home for some stuff. And you can see inside the fuse, the outlet, the input outlet for the command, which connect the soldering iron directly to the battery. Because if you don't use this outlet connection, you will connect your soldering iron directly to the output of this power supply, which is not a very nice idea, because it makes this little circuit very hot. I have to tell something about this little stuff, because this is a buck-boost converter, which is very nice actually for this kind of application. What I want to tell here is, first you will have here the relay switching between the input and the output of this power supply for connecting the soldering iron even on one or the other output. So I had to modify something which are a common modification, I guess, from electronic user. It's the output of this power supply is connected to a capacitor. This capacitor has his own voltage, not enough height, so you need to change this capacitor by one higher than 30 volts. The best is to use 45 volt capacitors, because this buck boost converter is able to reach 40 volts, And when you use 40 volts on this buck boost converter, it destroys this capacitor. Also, the fast switching diode, which are SMD component, actually, you need to replace it by a high power one. If you don't do that, your buck boost converter will not be reliable, actually. So this is not the first time I made this kind of modification on that type of circuit. And so for the input, it's that's okay, because I rarely use more than 35 volts, and this is not the case, so I can let this kind of component like that. But even if in case you need higher voltage, you absolutely need to change this output capacitor and to change this diode, which destroyed herself each time you use a little power on this circuit. So now I will glue all this thing, because I don't need it anymore to show it. And okay, this a little bit of glue and it will be perfect. As you can see, the panel is made by 3D printing, and also this BNC plug female are made also with 3D printing, which make it very easy to do, because it's all in one. Just put a copper on it and solder it, and you will have your BNC with the same dimension than this is a regular size of plug, actually. And of course you will have a 5 amp fuse, which protects all the circuit. And also the most important thing is to protect the battery from a short circuit. Also this potentiometer comes from this boost buck converter inside, and it's very easy, and it's not you can just use this kind of stuff to use the voltage you want, even in place to use rather to use a potentiometer. So it was Alexander again. I hope you like this very quick video, and I tell you, see you soon.